many people still believe that a paper ballot is a more secure. They trust it more. It doesn't raise the suspicions of hacking into a program. That being said, certainly both generationally and behaviorally, more and more of us are living appreciable portions of our lives digitally. We do most of our financial transactions digitally, and we do those financial transactions because we have come to trust the security of our data when it pertains to money. So the question is, A, why is that not then extended to ballots? And why shouldn't we be looking toward an increasingly digital future, maybe even in 10, 20 years, a future where you could vote literally with your device and not vote in person?
Well, first of all, I think that's a phenomenally good question, and I'm a big proponent of technology. I think we can make things much more efficient, much more user-friendly, and really meet voters where they are digitally. But the relationship between your ballot and the rest of society, and the relationship between you and your money, are two wholly and completely different things. You can do whatever you want with your money. It doesn't really have that big of an impact on anybody else. It's your money. You actually own it. Your vote, on the other hand, is a piece of a bigger puzzle. You are a member of a group, either a precinct, a city, a town, a county, a state, a nation, and your vote counts with those votes of other people. It is a cumulative decision-making process that we are engaged in here. And so it doesn't just belong to you. You get to make the selection yourself, of course. And in states like Arizona that guarantee secrecy, we want to maintain that, of course. And we want to have the voters have as much autonomy as possible. But preserving them on paper is the single best physical manifestation of that record of your choice for the whole that exists. When you make a choice regarding, whether or not you're going to, subscribe to this podcast or whatever other thing, or whether you're going to pay more on your mortgage this month or next month, that's between you and the bank. That's an individual sort of a relationship, a one-to-one. Your vote matters for everyone, and everyone else's vote matters for you. And so philosophically, it's a very different thing. Now, will we get to a place where we can have the kinds of systems that engender that same sort of trust in the future? Perhaps. And, I've looked at those things just to see what they look like. But for the time being, you can't ignore the very stark sort of apple to orange comparison between you and your bank account and your vote and my leadership. It's a very different relationship.
Let me push back on that for a moment. I appreciate what you're saying, that there's a communal aspect of a vote that's also a public performance. I don't mean performance in a pejorative sense. I mean a performance as you are performing a civic responsibility, and part of the performance of that is to physically be present in conjunction with other people in your community doing the same thing at very select moments that happen, frankly, in the greater warp and woof of things, rarely, every couple of years. And that's communally important and symbolically important, that there be a physicality to that we are there together doing this, as well as you just said, the ability to demonstrate results tangibly, physically. I mean, at the same time, our tax dollars are a collective action that is not just an individual relationship, right, between me and my bank account. It's a responsibility that I both am obligated to do, and probably would defend that obligation with the government. We do that digitally, right? We no longer just mail our.
And no, that is different. It's your tax dollars. You make less money, you pay less taxes. You make more money, you pay more taxes. And then we elect people to spend that money. That's the communal part of it. But your relationship with the IRS or the Department of Revenue in your state is your relationship. That can be individualized. That can be very specifically noted. You can pay penalties individually for not paying your taxes. Those don't apply to the rest of the community. Those don't apply to everybody else. So the act and the impact are very, very different with all of those other things. It is about the individual and the institution, whether it's a banking institution, whether it's the tax man or anything like that. The act of voting is a collective act by its very nature. The reason that we have elections is because we have differing points of view and we have to come to a common decision. It is one of the only spaces that we have where everyone's voice coming together actually produces a singular result that then has an impact on everybody else. I mean, unless it's like the church choir, right? Then your voice and everybody else's work together too. So, but from a civic responsibility perspective, it's like you owe this act to your community. You're making a decision for everyone, not just for you. It's different with taxes. It's different with mortgages. It's different with all of the rest of the things. You're making the decision for yourself, and only you have to suffer the consequences of a bad decision.